South African economy finds itself in a very bizarre, self-inflicted spout of vulnerability. No economy can survive if its fundamentals are not solid. And what are those fundamentals? One, and first and foremost, is the existence of confidence within the economy, confidence in the investment community, confidence in the consumer side or expenditure side, and confidence on the policy side. We have lost all three of them, unfortunately. And therefore, the economy has, over the past 5 years, has consistently come down from a growth of about 4% to the current level of expected, at best, 1.8% per annum. The fiscal position has changed as a result, because as government revenue contracts and government expenditure cannot contract, government borrowing goes up, and it creates a fiscal situation that is another key financial element of macroeconomic stability. We have been downgraded once, as you know, October last year, and we are literally and physically on the edge of another downgrade with massive consequences. Permeating this lack of confidence is the day-to-day drama that we see. The labor unions, COSATU in particular, on the path of self-destruction internally and externally for the reasons that Clem alluded to in his last observation, the changing pattern of work environment and technological permanence in the economy. The nature of job has changed. Our unions have not changed, as political leaders haven't even started thinking about it, and our legislation is way out of kilter with productive workplace. As a result, businesses are stressed. Our three key productive sectors, namely mining, manufacturing, and agriculture, have been brought to a state of paralysis on the one hand and total instability on the other. Bizarrely, at a time that the global economy is picking up and our exports should be picking up, particularly platinum and the like, at a time where the global economy is facing shortage of platinum, believe it or not, we intentionally stop the production and export of our platinum. Therefore, our exports suffer. Our balance of payments for the first time has gone back to pre-democracy structural configuration, which means technically our imports consistently for the 4 years past has exceeded our imports, which means the structural balance of payments deficit, which means we are dependent upon inflow of capital at a time that the confidence within the economy is not even good enough for domestic investors, never mind foreign investors. The second deficit that has arisen is, as I mentioned earlier, is the budget deficit rising. If you look at the picture of over the past 3 years particularly, or 4 years, you see a dramatic spike in government debt by American and Japanese and other standards is nothing. That's what our ministers keep comforting themselves. They say, well, we are at around 50+%, but we are not Japan at 200%. But the comparison is totally wrong, because our interest burden, our exposure to increasing foreign government debt has intertwined the balance of payments deficit with budget deficit at a time where the economy is growing, not growing. Therefore, the South African economy is in a very unfortunate, self-inflicted, vulnerable state. To get out of it, the policymakers have to make a fundamental mindset change shift. Accept that the workplace has changed, accept that the Unions and Labor Relation Act of 1995 is no longer serving South Africa. What was once upon a time for 10 years from 1995 to 2005, the bedrock of industrial relations stability has turned to a total chaotic source of instability. The sources of progressive social engagement and economic promotion have become effectively on a daily basis a force of obstruction and instability within the economy. Growth has already declined, and if we peep to 2014, there isn't any light at the end of the tunnel for me that I'm looking forward to. IMF has got their projections wrong. World Bank got it wrong. Our national treasury's model is no longer fit for the environment that is totally unstable as a result of what I shared with you. So growth is going to decline further, which means our ability, and our meaning private sector and public sector ability, to tackle the triple evils of poverty, unemployment, and inequality is so much more diminished than a mere 4 years ago.